did I go from this to this? And we're gonna get into that right now. So actually you guys had a little bit of influence on that, and we'll get into that in just a second, but really wanted to go back in time a little bit and tell you, I guess, my reasoning around it. So some of you may or may not know, I came from the, you know, sport bike world before getting onto the bagger. And sport bikes obviously are a little bit different. You know, you got a lot more lean angle. Usually in the twisties you're going to go probably a little faster, and as you get older you quickly realize that you can't do that anymore. Your body, I mean, some still do that are in great shape. I'm not, so I went with the bagger. When I picked up the motorcycle, I got these 14-inch Paul Yaffe ape hangers installed. They've been great bars, great for distance riding, comfortable arm and hand positions, and it's just been a really, really good bar. But recently I've been kind of not 100% falling back in my old ways, but I've really enjoyed my time going through the canyons and finding the twisties, to the point where I think we're going to continue to do that, and maybe even take it one step further, which would be getting the bike out on the track. You know, it's just with the rise of, you know, bagger racing and the King of the Bagger series, it looks like a lot of fun. Two, when you're out on the track, you can push the envelope a little bit more than what you would on the streets. So I started thinking to myself, what do I need to do to get this bike a little bit more prepared for some canyon runs, and also for getting this bike out on the track. So I started doing some research, and it seems to be the common denominator that going with a T-bar setup is going to give me a little bit more control, a little bit more feel on the bike. And honestly, I do like the look of T-bars on the bike. I didn't realize that I was going to like them more than the ape hangers, but like we all do in time, when it comes to doing upgrades on your motorcycle, you always think that you're done, and you're never done. Let's be honest. So I did a little research. You know, one, I posted a question out on the gram, and the response was awesome. A lot of you guys engaged, gave me your 2 cents on switching out from some ape hangers to T-bars. And a lot of people are saying, hey, you're gonna love it. Once you switch over, you'll never go back. And I've ridden bikes with T-bars on them, and it definitely is a different feel. And I kind of wish I would have done that first. Although these have been great for travel, I kind of wish I would have done it first, because a lot of people are saying you still can use the T-bars for travel as well. That was a big concern of mine, because obviously we do the cross-country stuff, and I still want to be comfortable on those longer trips. But when I want to go ahead and push around in the corners, now trust me, I get it. It's not going to be something that's going to make me faster. It's just going to give me a better feel. So in this community, in this realm, you got to realize that you always have people with different expertise and people that have done a lot of the research. So I went over to my buddies at 2 Lane Life, and they've got a lot of great, amazing videos on installs and things like that. But on their website, they have put together different packages that you can purchase for your bike. They've pretty much done all the hard work for you, because me, I'm mechanically not inclined. So to have it where somebody can think about what I would be missing was awesome. So real easy website to use. Absolutely loved it. So big shout out to 2 Lane Life for getting these parts all put together and give me everything that I need for somebody that just is not in the know when it comes to mechanics. But you know, not all mechanics are created equal, and I have found one that has been just absolutely amazing, and that's going to be in a future video coming up real soon, as we're going to be filming him and telling his story a little bit. So look forward to that. That'd be a good time for you guys to go ahead and hit subscribe if you haven't already. So for me, I said that I was done with this bike, that I was completely happy with it, and now I'm doing a complete bar switch out makeover, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure you guys have been there. It's fun, it's exciting. It's one of those things where whenever I do an upgrade on the bike, no matter how small, I'm so excited, even more excited to get on the bike. And for something like this of such a big caliber change, I think it's going to feel like a completely different motorcycle. So I'm super excited because this setup will never look like this again. I'm actually going to be installing their new top tree, which gets rid of all this ignition system, and we got to flash the system or something like that. So everything's going to look different. It's a gauge relocation. It's going to be awesome. So stand by, and of course I'm going to have a whole bunch of photography. If you guys aren't following me over on Instagram, you should. It's full_throttle_hog.
I'm a man on a mission. I'm a man on a mission. I don't need no permission. I'm a man on a mission. Take it up now, take it up. I ain't waiting and wishing. Take it up now, take it up. Oh, I got that ambition. Take it up now, take it up. I'm a man on a mission. When you look into my eyes, you know you're gonna see that fire. If you're standing in my way.
All right, so we're almost done, and I get to show you the final product. So excited. Okay, so now that the bars have been installed, I'm out here in the twisties a little bit, just to kind of give you guys a first impression of what it's like going from ape hangers over to the T-bar setup. More specifically, the Thrashin Supply with the new top triple tree, and the differences that I feel right at the gate. So first, I will tell you that this is going to take a little bit of time to adjust. I'm not gonna lie, it's a completely different feeling on the bike. First things that I noticed is that there is a lot more vibration in the handlebars, right? Especially in the grip area, you know, and that is just one thing that I noticed at the gate. But that comes with the ability to feel a lot more of the road. So, you know, it's got its pluses and minuses there, because, you know, you get a chance to just feel everything that's happening with the suspension and the bike below. It's just an adjustment. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just kind of an adjustment, just some more vibration there. And the next thing I'm going to tell you that I notice is the bike's responsiveness. It is insane, the difference in how the bike responds to inputs. And, you know, I understand that this could slightly be a placebo effect. I don't believe that this one is, because the bike just feels a lot more aggressive in the turns. And I haven't gotten too many miles to the twisties, but it gives me a little bit more confidence to be able to throw this thing into a corner, maybe even at you know, a more aggressive speed, if you will, because the responsiveness of the handlebars is pretty much instantaneous. When you have the ape hangers on there and you have your bushings on there, you got to keep in mind my hands were probably out here, you know, a little bit farther out, and ever so slightly there's a delay in your inputs, right? Because there's probably a little bit of flex in there, you got those bushings in there, so there's going to be a slight delay, something that you don't really notice, but you do notice it when you switch over to a T-bar setup, especially when you go with this top triple clamp. It is noticeable. It is kind of weird going from this outer angle over here to even just moving it in a few inches. It's hard to explain, but you know, your hands now, just ever so slight movements, that makes sense, is putting inputs into the bike. So my first big road trip is in July, and that is going to tell me a lot about how I feel with this kind of setup for distance travel. You know, when I'm crushing, you know, 400 to 700 miles in a day, is there anything that I don't like about it? The handlebar positioning, you know, these are the 6.5 inch pullbacks, and I did put the 1 inch spacer in there because I went with that top tree. So the hand positioning is comfortable. You know, my arms are not quite at shoulder level, they're just below with a little downward slope, but it's not like there's any pressure coming down on my hands. My hands are just resting naturally here. So, and lastly, my first impression kind of takeaway is that you're going to have to swap out your rear view mirrors. They tuck in now, at least in my opinion, they tuck in a little too tight. I think I would like them probably an inch more, and these are the high bend bars that I set up. So, you know, first impressions, it's not too shabby. Like I said, I mean, it's delivering what I thought that it would, which is a lot more stability when you're going through these corners. The install took about 6 hours. A lot of it had to do with rewiring and making sure that we get this area nice and clean. But with all that said, first impressions are these things are awesome. If you want to see a little bit more about what we do on this channel and you're brand new, you can check out this video right here. This is Every Mile of Memory. That's our latest documentary, over 5,500 miles around the country. And folks, until next time, you ride safe, you be safe, and we'll catch you on the next one.